Welcome back to Scouse Farm. As promised, I will show you now the results of my Sunday expedition into this Dalek compost bin. So if you remember from the video, it was all full to the top pretty much and it rotted down a little bit. I'd been adding more green, kitchen scraps, leaves, things like that to just boost it back up again. And I scooped all them off from about there into a bin and took out the lower levels of compost all the way down to the bottom. So now I'll show you what's left in there. There you go. And what I've done, I don't know if it shows up well on camera, but I've created like a form of composting called a worm wedge. So you stack the compost high to one side and then it goes down at an angle, gets thicker and thicker and thicker towards the bottom, and because it's all half decomposed already, the worms just make the way up to the top and then chew the way back down and all inside. So the worms stay inside this area and they basically consume all the food and poop it out, and that's known as worm casts, and they're brilliant for compost. So as you can see, it's raining now, it's getting even heavier again. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start throwing new material down the bottom there on the floor, and then once that's built up a bit, I'll mix it all in and then start using it like a normal compost bin again. But for now, I just wanted to show you that in case you haven't got a Dalek bin and you have a maybe like a block or a brick wall in your garden somewhere that's not attached to your house, then you can pile the material up against the wall and it'll create a worm wedge basically, and it'll encourage the worms to come in from the bottom and eat everything there and break it down. But obviously don't do it against a wall that is in a habitable building because it could create damp issues. And let's move around here and I shall show you the beautiful finished compost, which is less than 9 months old. So there's 3 of the buckets. I've filled another 2, so I got 5 of these containers out of it. And don't worry about wood, so little wood chips and bits of sticks, that's perfectly fine for compost. This isn't potting compost, so I'm not putting delicate new seeds in it. This is getting used to top dress, because I use the no dig method, which is better explained by Charles Dowding. So have a look at his channel and I'll leave a link down below for you to have a look at some of his descriptions of no dig and compost, etc. But what you do is you disturb the soil as little as possible, and in your flower beds or the areas that you're growing food, you spin you around slowly so you don't get dizzy. So like a flower bed there, you can see I will then in winter just place compost on all the gaps. So when the plants die back, I just cover the ground with the compost. That then rots down and feeds the soil microorganisms, and that then creates the perfect habitat for future good plant growth. And this bed is improving year by year because most of the nutrients are sucked up by the monster cherry tree that's at the front of the garden there. Oh, nearly turning my head around, it's that tall to show you the top of it. So again, even with that taking most of the nutrients out of the soil, the compost is doing its job, and year by year it's improving. And what I'll do now is I'll just scoop a bit across. So some of the pony manure still isn't completely rotted down, but you can see I just dig in. It's absolutely gorgeous stuff. It's all brown, which is what you want. You don't want it too black, which a lot of people think is a good thing, but sometimes if it's too black, that means it's been heated up too much and a lot of the beneficial bacteria has been killed off in the composting process. So this is perfect because then once it's thrown down on the soil, it's still active, it's still breaking down slightly, so it encourages more organisms into the mixture itself, and that in turn helps feed the soil better. So let's move around. I've got a couple more to show you here, even though my hand is now filthy. While I'm here, look at the tomatoes. They are getting much better. So I'll give you a video on them soon, because I made another mistake with them as always. And there's another 2. So I was only expecting to fill 4 buckets, but I managed to fill 5. And as you can see, this is gorgeous looking stuff. You can still see some of the pistachio shells there from last year. So I start adding to the mixture in October, November, when all the leaves fall off the trees, because a lot of the compost I start is from this cherry tree when it drops its leaves in November, and that kick-starts the season of compost for me. It's a great time of year. Right, I'm gonna get in out the rain. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again soon.